Okay, so let's jump right in. The Indian government has just dropped a directive that's sending shockwaves through the tech world. The new rule? Every single new smartphone sold in the country has to come with a pre-installed government app that you can't, under any circumstances, delete.
So let me ask you this directly. What if your phone, your most personal device, came with a piece of government software baked right in? Something you could never get rid of. This isn't some hypothetical question from a sci-fi movie. It's the new reality for India's 1.2 billion telecom users.
So you have to be asking, why? Why would the government do this? Well, to really get it, we first have to understand the sheer scale of the problem they say they're trying to fix. A massive, and I mean massive, digital crime wave happening all across the country. And when you look at the numbers, you really start to see the picture. We're not talking about a small issue here. The scale is just staggering. Through its Sanchar Saathi platform, the government has already blocked over 4 million stolen phones, traced millions more, and get this, disconnected a colossal 27.5 million fraudulent mobile connections. This is a full-blown digital epidemic of theft, scams, and fraud.
All right, so with a problem that huge, what's the government's proposed solution? Well, it all centers around an app called Sanchar Saathi.
Now, on paper, its mission seems pretty noble. It's billed as a kind of digital watchdog for citizens, a tool meant to help you protect yourself and your mobile connections in what's become a pretty risky digital world.
And honestly, it offers some genuinely useful features. For example, you can block a stolen phone using its unique IMEI number. That's kind of like its permanent digital fingerprint, which basically turns it into a paperweight for the thief. You can also directly report scam calls or texts, and even check to see if someone has fraudulently opened a SIM card in your name. All pretty helpful stuff.
So far so good, right? A useful voluntary security app. But, and this is a big but, this is where the story takes a sharp turn. What started out as an optional tool has now become a mandatory, undeletable part of every phone. And it comes with a pretty serious catch. The directive sent to phone manufacturers is frankly ironclad. The app has to be preloaded. Its features can't be disabled. It has to be pushed out to phones that are already in use. And here's the most crucial part. You, the user, cannot uninstall it, ever. It becomes a permanent fixture of your phone.
And here's that catch I mentioned. For this app to work, it needs some incredibly deep access to your device. We are talking about access to all your call and text message logs, the ability to actually make and manage your phone calls, full access to your photo gallery and all your files, and even complete control of your camera.
So you can probably see why this has just blown up into a huge national debate. You take a mandatory, non-deletable app and you combine it with that level of access, and you land right in the middle of a massive conflict. Is this about security, or is it a Trojan horse for surveillance?
And this really shows you the two sides of the coin. The government is selling it as a digital watchdog, a tool to protect you, empower you, and secure the nation. But critics see something much more sinister, a surveillance tool that completely erodes user consent and normalizes having the state permanently living inside our most private spaces.
And those fears are being voiced very, very loudly. One opposition lawmaker went so far as to call it Pegasus++, comparing it to that infamous spyware, but suggesting this is even more powerful. The warning is stark. This could give the state a window to watch everything a citizen does.
But of course, the government is pushing back with a completely different story. The Minister of Communications argues that this whole initiative is about creating a safe digital world where every single person's privacy and security are protected by the app, not threatened by it. Now, this isn't just a political shouting match. This directive has also created a major standoff with some of the world's biggest tech companies who are now caught right in the crossfire.
Apple, in particular, is in a really tight spot. See, the company has this incredibly strict global policy against pre-installing third-party software, especially from governments. So for them, this isn't just a technical problem, it's a direct clash with their entire corporate philosophy on privacy, setting the stage for a pretty high-stakes showdown.
So where does all this go from here? Well, the thing is, this mandate isn't just about one app. It's actually a key piece of a much larger story about the future of digital rights and government control in India.
And what's really wild is how quickly this whole thing escalated. The platform only launched as a web portal in 2023. By early 2025, it was an app. But by the end of that same year, boom, it's now a mandatory system app with a super tight 90-day deadline for companies to comply.
And like I said, this isn't happening in a bubble. It fits into a wider digital framework the government is building. For instance, they're also pushing new rules that would force messaging apps like WhatsApp to tie your account directly to your SIM card. For critics, all of these moves together look like the building blocks for a massive digital control system.
So, at the end of the day, it comes back to this. Everybody agrees that fighting digital crime is important. But this mandate forces us to ask a really fundamental question. In the name of security, how much control over our own digital lives are we willing to surrender? Where exactly do we draw that line?